Greetings, dear Moonlight citizens. On this 79th episode of the Moonlight Kingdom podcast, your man on the moon brings you discussions about genetics, whether or not someone can be genetically predisposed to feel a certain way about other people, whether or not attraction is something you can find in one's genomes and such. Among other topics, there's a little bit more on the political side, how the U.S. would be if it was split between North and South in terms of, well, political preferences and so on and so on. How things are panning out as it is with troops deploying on U.S. soil and various other things. Yeah, just shout out to the citizens of Chicago, I guess. All this and more in this Moonlight Kingdom podcast, episode 79, in 3, 2, 1.
Give your opinion on Radiohead. This means nothing to me because I don't know anything about them.
To answer the question, yes, Radiohead is a band. They did that song called Creep. White boys love that song. And they were also contractually hired to do a song for the Bond film Spectre. And they actually made that song, but it was rejected for, and I quote, being too dark. I heard the song. It's amazing. The fact that someone heard that and went, nah, let's go with Sam Smith, that's a huge blunder.
I still don't know any of what you're talking about. I'll have to look them up after the live. I have Spotify, so I can go listen to them.
Yeah, just look up the song Spectre by Radiohead. It's amazing. It's the kind of song
Spectre by Radiohead? Okay.
Yes. Also, in regards to
I don't know TikTok's rules on music. Otherwise, I'd just play it while we're live. I know I can't.
You can. I'm pretty sure you can play music in the background, providing that they don't hear it as loudly as what you'd like it.
Wait, they don't have DMC rules like Purple Apps?
I know YouTube does, and I know Twitch. Purple App does as well because I get caught every now and then.
Oh yeah. You can play music in the background. There's whole live streams that are basically radio stations that take requests. I know I used to be one of them.
Yeah, and I used to be part of one of them too. On top of that, you can
and I understand people do it, but it's just like flavored air. There's people that do it and never get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not allowed on TikTok. There's people that have music playing all the time on the Purple app and never get in trouble, but it's against DMC. That's why I said I don't know if it's technically against the rules.
It depends on the DMC rules and regulations, because if they're playing something like Undertale music, for example, it's all copyright free, so you can play whatever you want.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'll give them a listen. I'm gonna bring Soda back up.
At least you didn't say
all right,
pop.
Soda, you get a bonus question due to the fact of why you didn't come up the first time. First, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, sure. I am 23.
And then second question, what kind of puppy you got?
I have 2 dogs. One of them is a mini Australian Shepherd, and the other one is he's a bunch of stuff. He's part Chihuahua, and part Australian Shepherd with a little bit of wiener dog as well. He's a mutt.
Oh, that is a mix and a half.
Yeah, he's a little weirdo.
So wait a minute. You have Australian Shepherd with how big is the dog?
He's pretty little.
He is.
Oh, okay. So he remained little. Okay.
Yeah, he's really long when he stands up and stuff, and he's a weird looking dude. Here, I can show you the dog.
So before we get to I can't see your box. You're invisible for me. Oh, it came through. Oh, adorable! I love the coloring.
Yeah, he's a weird little guy. Say hi, Henry. He's licking his foot. Yeah, that's it. His name's Henry. He's a good little man. That's right, good boy. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely adorable. All right. Well, now that we had a nice little conversation, let's see how south this goes.
Yeah, sure.
Which one would you like to talk about?
I think there is something wrong with being LGBTQIA+.
Now, you understand when I say this, I'm talking about like an immoral or moral thing, correct?
Sure.
Okay, so my stance is it's amoral. It's a biological fixed rate that just exists. It doesn't inherently have morality. So let me hear your argumentation for why there's something wrong with it.
Even if I agreed that it is amoral, meaning it's not morally wrong to do to somebody, which I don't, I still think it goes against the natural order or the natural right of a human being.
Amoral would infer that it's neither wrong nor right, it just is.
I know what amoral means.
Just saying.
Right, so do you want to talk about the second topic? Can you show me how it's not natural?
Well,
Because you're saying it goes against the natural order.
Well, when I say that it goes against the natural order, that doesn't mean that you can't find it in nature and other animals. There are plenty of things that go against the natural order for a human to do that you can find in nature. What I mean by natural order is I mean that is not the purpose of our sexuality. Can I say that? Sexuality? Should I say sexuality?
It's up in the air on TikTok. Just don't worry, don't harp on it, and it'll probably just not be a problem.
Okay.
So fundamental purpose that all individuals should reproduce, is that am I steel manning that correctly, or are you making a different claim?
I wouldn't say that that is the correct steelman of the position. It's not that you should reproduce or that you have to by any means. It's just that that is the natural order or the natural purpose of our sexuality.
Okay, so LGBTQIA individuals that can't reproduce due to their attraction or other means would be wrong because it's against the natural order. Would you make that same argumentation for an individual like myself who was born infertile?
No, because you are still ordered towards gestation. The problem is that something has made you infertile, either a genetic defect or some other unknown cause that I'm not sure about, but you are still ordered towards sexual reproduction. That is still what you are ordered towards doing. Does that make sense?
Right, I understand what you're saying. But it begs the question. Is not the right way to put that. So an individual, if you accept the fact, and I can show you sources that being LGBTQIA is a biological fixed rate. It's just something that you're inherently born with. You can make the same argument towards LGBTQIA that you just made towards infertile people, which means you would be making rules for thee and not for me. You're making an exception to your own rule. So you would either have to say all LGBTQIA individuals are wrong, there go, infertile people are wrong, or you can't make that claim.
Are you saying that you agree being LGBTQ is a defect? Like infertility is?
I'm not saying. I would say it's an atypical form of development.
Okay.
I was using your verbiage. Like you're saying something went wrong with the biological development for infertile people. I could make the same inference towards LGBTQIA. Is these individuals, something went wrong in their genome structure, that a series of loci activated, and they're going to have same-sex attraction. So in your verbiage, something went wrong, and they have same-sex attraction, so they're not going to willingly reproduce with somebody of the opposite sex. Although we do have scientific unnatural means, not that unnatural is a bad thing, but unnatural means for them to reproduce anyway.
Well, and you said something wrong in the genome structure. Are you saying there's a gay gene?
A singular gene? No.
What gene?
A series of loci that they found in a large GWAS study. Yes.
How large was the study? I don't think this is scientific or medical.
Half a million people.
I don't think this is scientific or medical fact. The biogenesis of homosexuality is still mostly unagreed upon, to my knowledge. I would be willing to look into it, but I don't think this is a medical fact. I understand that you have a study. Yeah, I get that. There's studies for many things, but again, I don't think that this is a fact.
Well, that would depend on the source, largely.
For the first time, a new large-scale dataset offered sufficient statistical power to identify the variants associated with Same sexual behavior, estimate the proportion of variation in the trait accounted for by all variants in aggregate, estimate the genetic correlation of same sexual behavior with other traits, and probe the biology and complexity of the trait. To these ends, we perform genome-wide association discovery analysis on 477,522 individuals from the United Kingdom and the United States, replication of the analysis in another 15,142 individuals from the United States and Sweden, and following up the analysis using different aspects of sexual preference. So this is a repeated study that shows time and time again that it is in the genomes.
Well, repeated twice, and again, I do not believe that that is a medical fact. I don't think that that is as accepted as, like, red hair being in one's genome. I may be wrong.
Give me a source that disputes 500,000 people being studied.
You gotta acknowledge on some level the sample size here is pretty large and pretty varied, given that it takes place across the
pretty
US
large. This sample size is 10 times what most sample sizes is, if not more.
I'm not acknowledging the study. All I am saying is that I do not believe that that has been declared fact yet. And what's the name of the study? Or the PCMIB number? Large-scale GWAS reveals insight into the genetic architecture of things. Yeah, reveals insight. It implies to me that it's not 100%. But again, even if it was, that still goes against the natural order of the human being. I don't believe that that is special pleading to say.
So again, your argument would be that infertile people goes against the natural order, so you would have to say they're wrong also.
No, that wouldn't be my argument. For example, you can become infertile just due to age.
I'm talking about individuals that are born infertile, since we're talking about biological predispositions.
Well, that would be special pleading to one type of
that's not special pleading.
Yeah, if infertility means that it's going against the natural order,
I'm comparing one-to-one of individuals that are born with something. So an individual born with a predisposition towards same-sex attraction versus an individual born with infertility.
Yeah.
This is a one-to-one comparison. This is not special pleading. I don't think you know what special pleading is.
I do. But if you would let me finish what I was saying, even if it is something you are born with, which I don't know if I agree with, I'd have to look at that study to see, that doesn't mean that it's within the natural right of the human. Infertility is not the same thing. It is still the SMEX that you are having as an infertile person is still of the nature to reproduce. It just won't. That doesn't mean that it's not of the nature or of the natural order towards reproduction. It's still ordered towards that, the SMEX that you would have as an infertile person, but the SMEX that you would have as a homosexual is not ordered towards that at all.
Yet not all sexual interaction is done for the purposes of reproduction.
Yes, and I think
in both cases, neither of these individuals are getting pregnant. So
yeah, but that doesn't matter.
So
you don't have to get pregnant.
What is the point of making this claim?
You don't have to get pregnant for you to be naturally ordered towards a certain type of sexual reproduction.
Yeah, so individuals are naturally ordered towards same-sex attraction due to a biological fixed trait.
Even if
that would be the definition of natural.
Even if it is natural for them to become homosexual, you're not born as a homosexual. You're not born with any sexual attraction at all. But even if it is natural...
Actually, you are born. That's what this study shows.
I did not have sexual attraction in any capacity before I was 10, 11, maybe.
Oh my fucking God. Do you know what a predetermined biological fixed trait is?
Yeah,
with a predisposition towards
you're predisposed to it. You're not born as it. You're not born homosexual.
Oh my God.
You're not. Children don't have...
born with the predisposition towards being a homosexual.
Becoming.
So when you understand what your attraction is, it's a natural process because it's already there.
Sure.
Are you going to tell me people aren't born left and right-handed too?
Am I going to tell you that people aren't born left and right-handed? Maybe not. Maybe depends on the context of the situation. If your argument is that people...
You have no idea what you're talking about. Okay.
A similar situation would be in how, in alcoholic households, that the children born of that household would be more predisposed to alcohol than the average child, especially in cases where the mother drank during pregnancy. Now, this doesn't always happen, but it does happen.
Yes, there are individuals when they come from a family of spicy water. They have a predisposition towards more likely becoming that also.
Yeah.
Soda, I urge you to actually go do some research, because it actually makes you look disingenuous as fuck when I give you a massive study and you say, well, I don't believe that. I have nothing to refute that with, but I don't believe it.
Also, nobody's saying that they're born alcoholics. I'm saying they'd be predisposed to alcohol, not naturally born.
They don't understand what predisposed means. Or, sorry, predisposition towards.
Yeah. It's not like an infant's gonna come out of the nursery saying, you know, hey, someone pour me a bottle of Jack with ice. Like, if it did, that would scare the crap out of everybody.
That would be rather scary. Alright, I am going to shrink the panel in a minute.
Okay.
What can I help you with, Maki?
I was just coming to say hi. Also, that person was
Hello.
infuriating me with the disingenuousness of everything that they said.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't understand the conversation, say I don't understand what you're trying to explain. I don't understand what predisposition means. An infant is not going to have the capacity to say, oh, I'm attracted to this. But as they come to it, they are going to inherently know what their attraction is towards. Usually between 6 and 9 years old.
Yeah, I don't think they understand that refuting means like not accepting, and they weren't accepting the study. As we were like saying, oh, it's 500,000 people, and that's not a large enough study. That's like literally the largest, and it's just like, that is legitimately just being disingenuous.
I was going to say the majority of studies that I look at are studying between 100 and 300 people. I get lucky sometimes and find like 700 to 1,000. A study of 500,000 people is astronomical, and then followed up and repeated with a secondary study of another 15,000 people. It's a massive study.
Right.
So unless you have something to come up here, the leading consensus in working theory is it's a biological fixed rate that you have a predisposition towards.
Also, a common thing that a lot of studies do get criticized for, apart from, you know, the number of people that are included in the study, is that more often than not, they only study people from one region. But in this case, it's people from different countries, so it opens it up more to be like, well, it allows for more validity in terms of what they've found. Because there do be times where certain things you're looking for only happen in a given area. But yeah.
Yeah, what's that really rare one that happens only in some tribe, and I think it's South America, where they look completely anatomically female at birth, yet their clitoris basically grows into a penis as they get to puberty. I'm trying to remember the tribe's name. Does anybody know? I know somebody's heard it in the chat.
I'm Googling it right now.
That one I found completely fascinating. I really hate special pleading arguments. If it's LGBTQIA, I'll make this case, but if anything else is brought up, then there's exceptions to my own rule. I'm Catholic, unlike most. I love everyone. I mean everyone, including the gays and stuff.
At least they said
Carl,
and stuff.
So, Carl, so my simple answer to that is a lot of people, because I pick apart things that don't make sense to me, like in the Bible or other religions for that matter, that I have something against religion. No, I think faith is very, very important to a lot of people in this world. Let me be very clear on that. But it's individuals that try to weaponize their faith against other people. That's when I have a problem with it. So I don't have a problem with Catholics. I don't have a problem with Christians until they start weaponizing their religion.
So it's the Guividoches people of the Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. Okay.
Though there's a question there, it says that I'm supposed to love everyone Christ told us to love. The question with that is, do you love everyone solely because you're told to, or is it something you inherently wish to do? Like, to treat everyone with kindness. Is that something you do only because the good book tells you to, or is it something you generally want to do as a human being? A lot of people have trouble answering that question. More often than not, the answer that comes
Actually,
up
I
is
think in
because.
the Bible, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I may have my passages messed up. But I thought in the Bible it actually states that you're not supposed to force the word onto others.
I think it was don't preach where it's not wanted, but I'm probably misquoting it. But it's
Wasn't it
basically saying if your preaching isn't wanted, then go to the next place.
I know there's one about don't bear false witness. I don't. Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't sound about. Yeah, that sounds about right. But, yeah.
Carl, I may. Yeah, so this is the first half of it, which is to go and spread the word of the gospel to all creation, which is Mark 16:15. I'm aware of that one, but I swear there's something that contradicts it.
So, in the words of
I
Jesus,
think it's in Matthew. I'll have to go reread
Matthew 10:14.
Matthew.
Matthew 10:14. From the words of Jesus, when Jesus sent out his disciples, he told them that if a town or a house would not welcome them or listen to their words, they were to shake the dust off their feet as they left. This is a symbolic gesture of judgment and a sign that their message was not accepted.
In other words, don't waste your time on people who don't want to hear
That's what it is. That was the contradiction. If anyone not welcome you or listen to your words, leave the home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Yes, it's fine to go out and talk to individuals that want to hear it, but the minute they tell you no, you're supposed to just leave the situation alone. That was more what I was trying to say. I will say that I spoke it very poorly. I am perfectly capable of admitting that.
I love that last part though. Make sure you shake the dust off your feet before you go. Like some petty shit like that. Well, fine. I'll take my good book elsewhere. But I'm gonna fuck up your welcome mat first.
Yeah, Carl.
It's a sign that
unlike a lot of people that I talk to, I am more than capable. Holy shit! How the fuck did you all get to 50K already? All right, 75K it is. Let's go. All right, thank you all so much for tapping, Thomas. Thomas, you got someone hot on your heels, but you are holding on to that gold crown right now. But yes, Carl, I can absolutely admit when I speak poorly. So I will absolutely admit that I misquoted what I was trying to say. Maki, thank you for pulling up Matthew 10:14, because I knew I felt it was a contradiction. But technically, if you take them in literal sense, it's saying, yes, you should spread it, but also have peace of mind that when somebody does not accept the word of God, to continue on. If someone is uncomfortable with me, I'll leave them alone. Like if someone threatens to block me, I'll let them, because if I made them uncomfortable, then I deserve to be ignored. I don't think I'm
Deserves got nothing to do with it, but okay.
I think it's more so you respect boundaries. I think that's what you're saying with that sentence structure. I will say the wording leaves a little to be desired, but then again, we don't all, put words perfectly every time.
We all word different. It's fine.
But yeah, so anyone that listens to my conversations, if you think I'm wording something poorly, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you're more than welcome to come up here and have a conversation with me. I truly do like to learn, but I don't do disingenuous. I will call it out every time. If you're being a hypocrite with how you're trying to have a conversation, such as special pleading, I'm going to call it out. And if you continue to do it after I've explained it succinctly, I'm just going to drop you. Because there's no point in having a conversation with somebody that's not willing to learn. Now, if you have a argument that stands its ground and holds its water, then you have an argument that can beat me. And this isn't a game for beating. This is literally people's lives. So the simple fact that individuals want to special plead, and there's always an exception to the rule, and that exception is I can ostracize LGBTQIA individuals. I can say they're unnatural. I can say they're blah 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 blah. It only applies to LGBTQIA lately. But anytime I give you another scenario, oh, it doesn't apply to that. Oh, it doesn't apply to that. Oh, it doesn't apply to that. God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
I have a question.
Sure, if you believe that, God also is a perpetuant child that set humanity up to fail, if you want to get technical.
I have a query about that. Not just about that.
Sure.
For first part A, what is special pleading?
Special pleading, so have you ever heard the phrase rules for me and not for thee?
Yeah.
Or rules for thee and not for me. I'm sorry, I said it backwards.
Yeah, people
That's basically what it is. Yeah, so it's basically, that's what special pleading is. Oh. So gay individuals are unnatural, and this is like the argument you'll hear, are unnatural because they can't reproduce with their partner. Okay, well, a heterosexual couple that willingly gets into a happy relationship, knowing their partner is infertile, would be meeting the same prerequisite. Are they also unnatural? They'll say, no, that's a medical exception. That's a this, that's a that. But if you circle it back to LGBTQIA individuals, they'll say, oh, no, that's unnatural. So that's special pleading. It's a rule for this group, but not a rule for this group.
Well, all right. It is what it is. Thank you for that. Very informative.
What would you do if you started a stream like this and nobody joined? Talk to myself a lot.
That sucks.
I was doing that earlier today.
I saw you live.
No one should be GAY. Why? Back up your claim.
I do have one thing to ask about that. The dude brought up Adam and Steve. I just would like to know, who the fuck is Steve?
Steve's from Minecraft.
Isn't that the name of the didn't they get this from like the Ice Skater movie? It was like, and they did the guillotine thing. Weren't their names Adam and Steve or something?
Is that the one with Will Ferrell?
Idea.
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
Is that the one where the dude's head got?
Yeah,
yes.
with the ice skates, yeah.
That was gruesome. Yeah, that was gruesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I swear it came from a movie.
I loved his whole monologue about lady lumps. That was funny.
Oh, I guess it highly predates that. So it originated as an anti-GAY slogan, first appearing on protest signs in 1977, anti-GAY rallies in Houston, Texas. Surprise, surprise. And popularized nationally by televangelists. Whoa, that's a hard word to say.
Televangelists?
I don't like the word. Jerry Falwell, around 1979, becoming a prominent symbol of conservative Christian opposition to homosexuality.
So what you're saying is that the haters of the LGBTQIA plus community haven't come up with original content in 50 years. Because that's what I'm hearing.
Yes, we've been watching.
I mean, I'm sure they had something similar in the 1930s too. So I'll say almost a millennium? No, not 100 years. Millennium? Century.
A millennium is 1,000.
Yeah, millennium is 1,000, so century. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little tired today. Give me a break. Okay, let me catch up on these comments. Let's see. God will not be mocked. Okay. God also unalive firstborn kids in Egypt. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a reason to follow a what I would classify as a hateful religion and a contradictory religion, due to the fact that God commands unalivement of firstborns. God has condoned genocide. God has condoned slavery. God has condoned rape. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about following that. Any fellow Austrians in the chat? Not me. What are the gay people going to do when they run out of alphabet? Create a new one. I don't know.
We'll start using uniform.
We still haven't found a word for the letter
I already
X.
said I'm going to host a background that says being LGBTQIA, and then I'm going to mash my keyboard with a bunch of wingdings, and I guarantee they'll all run up here like, when did they add all those? The rainbow flag is mocking Jesus. Sure it is. Used to be illegal literally everywhere in Europe, still is in some places. Austria is so behind. Needs to be illegal in the United States. Stop saying unalive, 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 unalive.
Wait, hang on. How is the rainbow flag mocking Jesus? Aren't stained glass windows rainbow colors themselves?
Yeah,
Think
but they'll
about
make
it.
an exception for that.
Churches got stained glass windows, and when the light shines in, they have this like rainbow color coming in.
Trinity, thank you for the tiny diny. Thank you so much.
Making fun of Jesus. They're gonna hate the Wipala from the Quechua.
Why do you people say unalive? Because TikTok language.
You can use.
We love the TikTok shop.
The word flatline says more. What's the word? Like the seriousness behind it. Like so and so was flatlined earlier today.
The rainbow is literally a gift from God. No, the rainbow is a scientific phenomenon due to the way that light refracts off air moisture.
It also represents the indigenous people of the Andes, including the Quechua and the Aymara.
And
freedom of speech. Freedom of speech protects you from the government, not privatized apps. Shut up! I don't believe in science. I'm so glad you put satire on the end of that, because I absolutely would have jumped all over that. Don't take social media seriously. Tim, I really, really think you should scroll up, because I don't think you have the education to be in here. Although you're improving my algorithm, so I'm tempted to just let you type away. Keep going. Actually, you know what? Keep going. Until you say something really stupid, and then my moderators will get rid of you.
I love how there's a politician also called Tim Walz, but his is Walz with a Z. Like he's a 90s kid and being like, you know what? Forget using an S. I'm going to use a Z at the end of mine.
I mean, if we're going to talk about politics, I think that was one of the stupidest running mates that Kamala could have picked.
I would prefer Pete Buttigieg. He seems like a nice dude.
I agree with that.
It was either Pete or there was Pete was not my first choice. He was my second. God, I can't remember the gentleman's name now. Because there was three. It was Tim Walz, Pete Buttigieg, and then the third one. And I can't remember the third one's name off the top of my head. And no, not Gavin Newsom. That I could care less about him. Although, unfortunately, I think he's going to be on the primary ticket, and I'm not a big fan of him in any way, shape, or form. I think the only thing he's doing is showing what Trump's doing, but individuals aren't smart enough to understand that he's just showing how ludicrous it is to follow this line of thinking, and they can't see it. I fighting fire with fire. Sure, I get the whole concept. I just think he's doing it poorly. I don't like Newsom. I really don't.
The problem with backburning is you run the risk of, if you don't do it just right enough, you create a big ass fire and you end up adding fuel, as opposed to having two fires meet in the middle and snuff each other out.
I was gonna say, at this point, what does it matter? Because the orange peel can say whatever they want, and people eat it up. Like, I counted at least 7 lies in the speech he just gave today about moving the Space Force to Huntsville. It was like 7 lies back to back.
Rocket City?
Wait, that's real?
Rocket City.
Yes, that was the primary announcement today, was Rocket City.
I thought that was a joke. What the?
No.
I just want to know if that's going to be synonymous with Raccoon City, and then we're going to see the Umbrella Corporation just show up, and then things are going to go south real quickly.
You know, it's going to be a slight variation, because like Raccoon is not Rocket, but we do have Rocket Raccoon, so it's going to be.
All right, hold on, Maki. Hold on. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes, please?
I'm 45.
All right. And what do you want to talk about?
I don't think we need a gay president. I think that would ruin the country.
What does that have to do with the background?
One, what does that have to do with the background? And two, people said that about having a black president, and Obama was one of the best presidents we've ever had.
Obama was our first gay president.
His wife would say otherwise.
His wife's a man.
Ooh.
Okay, so you're
Michelle Obama's a man.
You're boring.
You did not just say that.
So my live is not Jerry Springer. Go find another live that puts up with that bullshit. I don't.
Even Jerry Springer didn't put up with that bullshit. Just saying.
I mean, to be fair, you're correct. Somebody asked if I heard about the controversy with Pete Buttigieg. Maybe, but I don't remember what it is.
He was on a podcast or some kind of talk show like a week or two ago, and I forget what he said, but some of the more left-leaning people did not like it.
Well, I mean, Newsom walked himself into a corner when talking about trans sports and kind of screwed it up. But then, like on the spot, these people say really dumb shit. Pete Buttigieg answered that, I think, in my opinion, answered that well. I didn't have a problem with what I've seen for it. Is because he made a very similar argument to me, is the middle school and high school things we don't know enough about to have these conversations. Individuals are just trying to play sports with their friends. But when it comes to collegiate level, that we should be, following rules and guidelines, such as I advocate against trans individuals in collegiate level sports, unless they've been on 2 years of HRT, because that's what the science shows. And if the science were to change, then I would have to change my opinion on trans individuals competing in collegiate level sports of their gender identity. Pete was, as far as I remember, Pete was on a very similar wavelength to that, and I agree with that. Carl, I think you're having way too much fun in the comments right now. You're throwing me off my train of thought. Destil? Is that how you pronounce that?
Hello.
Hello. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
38.
38. I'm sorry. Can I ask a favor? And you don't have to. But the way you came in here reminded me of the movie Mrs. Doubtfire. Have you ever seen
When you get that cake all over his face.
I
Hello!
have indeed seen Mrs. Doubtfire and the wonderful Robin Williams, indeed.
Can you give us all a hello?
Hello.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
All right, my lovelies. No, what? Where am I?
Oh man, this scene. What did he throw? A lemon at the back of the guy's head? A kiwi? Something? That was funny. It's a drive-by fruiting.
I came up here because of myriad comments, but now listening to your opinion on collegiate sports, I'm of the same mind. I'm of the opinion Buttigieg. Every time I've heard Pete Buttigieg talk, I've agreed with him. He's never said anything that I've seen that upset me, and I can't imagine him saying, and he hasn't. The blowback hasn't been that bad, so I think he wasn't as forcefully defensive of trans rights as people would like him to be, but people have to remember he's a politician.
It's not even so much that. It's that you can't appease everybody. Even myself, who's a huge advocate for the LGBTQIA community, probably partly because I'm part of it. I'm part of multiple letters in this community. I get blowback all the time because I don't say something very as specific as somebody wants me to say it, or I disagree in a small capacity of the way people are holding it. I don't think there's any individual that is going to say something that everyone on the right or everyone on the left, it doesn't matter who it is going to agree with. There's going to be blowback everywhere, but overall, I think you're correct. Pete Buttigieg, I haven't really seen anything out of pocket with him. Sure, he's going to get blowback because he doesn't say something perfectly, or doesn't stand up hard enough, or take a firm enough position, or whatever it is. But overall, I think he has good intentions and well-meaning conversations.
And a good track record. When he does vote, he votes well. He doesn't vote against anything he tells his constituents, or if he does, he's very straightforward.
Yeah, so even the problem for me is currently, even someone like Newsom, I would still vote for Newsom because as far as I can tell, Newsom's not trying to take away rights. And I hate that this is what voting has come to, is I'm going to vote for the one that's not removing shit from people.
Yeah, I'm a complete agreement, and people think this is hyperbole. I'm literally scared every day the country's gone and we fall into a true fascist dictatorship. I mean, openly, brazenly, full effect. Like, it could be tomorrow. Does anyone else feel that way?
Yeah, that's why I left.
I hate the fact that I am right there with you as a military veteran that fought for the right, or, I am not a war veteran. I did not go to war. I was supposed to, but I got injured before they could deploy me. I'm very honest about that, so I'm not a combat vet. But I served. I spent time, and if it need be, and I got deployed, I would have been doing everything I could for the rights and freedoms of everyone in this country. I pick and choose who gets those. And I do wake up every day that everything I stood for is being stamped on.
Because what happens if tomorrow, tonight, Trump sends 5,000 National Guard to downtown Chicago? And now there's an occupation, an unwelcome occupation of Chicago, which is much different than D.C. and L.A. What happens if civilians by the hundreds are taken out in Chicago? What do we do at this point? There's more police than probably standing military in Chicago.
Yeah, it's a major quandary right now because, as much as it was science fiction, Handmaid's Tale, DC was the first to fall. This is a strategic play, is do things slowly, see how people react to it, and if it can get through enough, Do it again. Keep going. And sooner or later, we'll be so far down that there is no coming back to it.
It's not so much changing the law as much as it's not so much breaking the law as it is changing it so that you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, he's already violated the Constitution in a multitude of different ways. So, but then again, this is from the same party that doesn't even understand what the First Amendment is, what freedom of speech actually is. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Freedom of speech protects you from the government overreach. It does not protect you from coming up here and saying slurs. Oh, that's my freedom of speech. No. Yeah, well, you know what? You're right. Go ahead. Say whatever you want. But the consequence is you get dropped off my panel. I'm not the government.
That sounds like some action movie shit. Like, Liam Neeson saying, like, I will go for you. I will find you. But in your case, it's freedom of speech protects you from the government, not me.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating that these same individuals will watch Star Wars and they think that the Empire is the good one. They'll watch something like not unalive a mockingbird. The Hunger Games. They'll watch Hunger Games and they'll understand the core concept of it. And they'll be rooting for Katniss Everdeen the whole time, and yet they'll preach all of this other shit once the movie's over. These are the same individuals that think that Superman would be on their side with immigrants.
The same people who watch American Psycho look at Patrick Bateman and think, bro, that's me. Like, I want to be that guy.
Grandmaster, thank you so much for the galaxy.
To be fair, he was a wealthy, successful, well-physiqued man. I'd be,
Did you miss the part where he was batshit crazy?
Now. Grandmaster, who are you kicking off the panel?
There's some good Easter eggs about that movie too, like the scene with the diner with him and the detective.
All right, everyone, hold on a second. Doc Holliday, can I grab your age for TikTok purposes, please?
Is this Huckleberry? Please don't be Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, no, there's a guy.
Can I get your age for TikTok purposes, please?
Yes, I'm 43, from California, 43? Moderate Democrat.
Okay. Do you disagree with the background?
Let's see here. There is zero wrong. Well, you can disagree with it, but I'm not going to tell somebody they're wrong.
Right. So I would say individuals that are LGBTQIA are amoral. It doesn't inherently hold morality.
I would say maybe my suggestion is that community should just create their own little utopia where they just, communicate with each other. That way it's simpler because the majority.
What?
I'm just telling you. Well, I'm going to give you guys just a view, right?
You're arguing for self-segregation.
Hold on.
What?
Tried that. It didn't work.
Well, here's the deal, folks. Majority of society will give that community problems, and we know that. So, for that problem, I have a solution. Just create your own, place where the community's there and they don't have problems.
Doc.
So let me ask you the next obvious question. Where should that be?
I mean, that's something maybe the government and community can figure out.
Well, Doc, I would like to point out that for many, many years, the community has tried to have their own spaces where, LGBT people can just come and go as they please and live how they want to live. More often than not, people who believe that the LGBT is something to be despised always seem to show up.
I do want to be very clear, though. It's not a majority of society that thinks LGBTQIA is wrong. It would be a minority of society that thinks LGBTQIA is wrong.
It's like 30%.
I think it's about 33, but yeah.
Wow, is it still that high? I thought it was way lower than that. I thought.
Well, if you're taking world population, yeah, it's around 30%. Because there's still places where it's literally illegal to be LGBTQIA. They'll put you in jail. What? If we're taking just like the United States, I think it's down in, I think it's mid-20s, low 20s.
I think Doc Holliday pulled a Huckleberry Finn.
I can't believe a quarter of people think we're doing something wrong. Wow.
Well, like you have all these individuals that will say, well, and you get it even from our own community. You'll get the LGB without the T, or the LGB should just be its own thing, and throw all the other letters to the side. So you got those individuals that think that, you know, if they throw their own community under the bus, like, I don't agree with everything about our community. I don't agree with every way they go about things. That doesn't mean I just throw my community under the bus. Then you have the individuals that have what I would classify as willful ignorance. Well, nobody's going to come back for gay marriage. That's a thing. That's fine. Nobody actually cares about it. Yet they're talking about it. They're also talking about getting rid of it.
It's literally on the docket. It's supposed to be decided this fall, actually. Within the next 60 days, it will be repealed. Gay marriage will be.
I mean, there's no guarantee it will be repealed, but I'm inclined to believe that yes, especially with the current Supreme Court we have, that yes, it'll be repealed. I never thought Roe vs. Wade would get repealed, but here we are. And then you have the individuals that say the quiet part out loud that LGBTQIA is disgusting, it's wrong, it's this, it's that, it's not natural, but when you try to get them to define natural, they don't even know what natural. Lifting on animal species are show homosexual behavior. They don't understand that just because, even if we classify being LGBTQA is unnatural, that doesn't inherently make it wrong. They hate the fact when I ask them why they're talking to me on a cell phone. If unnatural things are inherently wrong, why are you using a cell phone? So the majority of these individuals, they don't want to understand science. They don't want to understand facts, but they want to be the party of facts over feelings. So it's just always going to be an uphill battle for any minority group, whether it be LGBTQIA, whether it be this group, that group, that group. If a majority wants to come after them, then they're going to have an uphill battle on their hands. So no matter how many times LGBTQIA moves forward, unfortunately, I feel they will always get taken a step back, because all it takes is one person to be in the right place of power. And we've seen this time and time again. Like if we look at history, LGBTQIA was fine. We didn't even label it. There were no labels needed because everyone was just living their life and people went about their business. And then someone came along and said, "Hey, that's weird, so it's wrong." And then all of a sudden it was fine again, and then this group came along and now said it's wrong. So it's just a repeated process. I mean, what's that country song? 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Yeah, that's how it is for a lot of groups. I mean, not only are they looking at repealing gay marriage, but now we have Republicans in places of power talking about interracial marriage should be looked at again.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas was all over that. It's like he forgot that he's a black guy.
I'm serious.
Also, the song is called "One Step Forward, 2 Steps Back." The lyric is 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Oh, is that the literal name of the song?
Yeah, like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Nobody gets too far like that.
Well, I've literally never heard this fucking song, and I'm 38 years old. How? What?
I feel like it's a Southern thing.
I mean, I'm not really that Southern. I mean, I'm from Cincinnati.
Right, I'm from New Orleans originally.
I'm not Southern either. I just own a radio.
I mean, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah, what the hell are you that am not Southern? Are you Northern?
What does that got to do with me having a radio? Like, what the Northern people only Northern people have radios?
Just countering what I said. Just countering what I said.
No, I'm just legitimately curious on his accent.
I don't know. people try to tell me like, you sound New York. Another person was like, you sound like you're from Chicago. Another person was like, you sound like you're from Boston. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I would have said Kentucky, but okay.
So just to give you some idea of recent polls, 2024 Gallup poll found that 69% of Americans continue to believe that marriage between same-sex couples should be legal. That leaves 31% that are still against it.
What?
Yep.
What?
So interracial marriage, from my understanding, is not illegal in most places, but is not protected anywhere.
It's no longer for me at 38 years old of being in a position to leave the world a better place than I found it for my children. It's now making sure there's a fucking place still there at all.
I agree with you.
And is all I'm hoping for.
So I'm going to pop this up on screen. We're going to go over a couple of things. In Michigan, let me shrink this a little bit. And then, there we go.
Very cool.
So in Michigan, State Representative Joshua Shriver unveiled his own anti-gay marriage resolution on February 25th. That's this year. Arguing that restrictions on gay marriage are important to preserve and grow our human race because, gay people make up such a large portion of the population that it's going to totally affect our population growth. Michigan Christians follow Christ's definition of marriage as a covenant between a man and a woman.
I figure half of people are at least a little bit.
I was going to say, it wasn't a covenant between a man and a woman. It was a deal between a man and a woman because women were seen as property if you want to talk about Christian faith. But they never want to talk about that.
Also, statistically speaking, if 50% are for, 30% are against it, that means like, what, on average, 20% of the country doesn't give a shit?
Yeah.
So largely,
that
would mean, on a technicality, it really is a minority, because if you take that 50 and you add in that 20%, that means like 70% of the country would actually go against this.
Right.
Yes.
70% of the country would be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Because nobody's really kind of on the fence positive. They're usually on the fence on the negative side.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the representative that some Republican lawmakers increased calls against gay marriage and interracial marriage in the event of an overturned Supreme Court decision. I can't find.
I really want to read this biracial ban.
I cannot find the senator. But like even most Republicans are opposed to the removal of protections for interracial marriage. There's just some people that are so far off their rocker that there's nothing you can.
Honestly, I kind of hope they actually push and run with that, though. I hope that gains greater steam. You know what that would do? It would just greater galvanize another huge minority to help do something.
No, you know the problem? Because I don't believe the Handmaid's Tale is going to happen. You know what I truly do think if our country keeps going in this direction? We're going to become North and South Korea.
I can see that, except I get the feeling that it's going to be polarly reversed.
Yeah, and there won't even be two countries. There will be a resistance, rebellion. This is just going to be an ugly place. I feel like this, it's 1930, it's 1940. I'm in Germany, and I'm like, what the hell do I do? Where do I go?
Hopefully
and that's where I'm at now.
That bad.
And I don't got a way out.
If there was any feasible way for me to get out of this country, I would have left already. And that's coming from a veteran that no longer feels safe in their own country.
Also, to what Maki said about North and South Korea, like if it were in the U.S., it would be inverted. So the northern U.S. states get all the K-pop stars, and the southern U.S. states get the dictator. I mean, I'm just asking.
Dictator. The northern states wouldn't get K-pop stars, they'd be, I don't know, A-pop stars, but that's American exceptionalism, so U.S. pop stars, but those already exist, so.
I genuinely wonder if this country would be better off if it was split genuinely in two. Like, if instead of having much struggle.
You want to know why it won't be better off? I can tell you specifically. Because unlike what's going on in like we'll use North and South Korea, especially since I served over there in South Korea, and I had a very high clearance level, so I knew a lot more information than a lot of other people. Now this was a while ago, so I don't know how much has changed. But the reason this won't work in the U.S. is so individuals are going to have to learn a hard truth. So a lot of these individuals that think that Trump is good for the economy, think that red states are, overproducing, they think that all these like misconceptions, they're going to get stuck in a rock and a hard place of accepting the hard truth when all the blue states, which outperform red states on an economical level, they're not going to be giving those red states help anymore, because it would be blue states and then red states. It's the complete separation. We're not going to help them anymore. So it's going to turn into what you were talking about earlier, is it's going to get dark real quick when they realize that they're failing. They're going to try to take what they want. Mm-hmm. So it's going, I would say, at best, I would give it 10 years of separation before they realize how poor of a decision it was. And unless we incorporate some kind of thing where you can freely move, and like, if you're on the blue side and you really think the blue side is failing you, you can just freely go over to the red side, and vice versa. It's just going to turn into a, well, we screwed everything up, so let's go take what they've done.
Right. And the further issue is just everything is just getting exacerbated by the day in the current atmosphere, because we were concerned with, pushing the boundaries to a point where we have to take some kind of action or actual resistance. I don't know. With everything we've seen, he's already marched tanks into streets. We've seen fires. We've seen military troops marching through our cities. What else could actually happen to wake the United States up?
So this is so I spent a lot of my time going through world history, learning about things like especially when I got to college, learning about like 1930s Germany. And I remember one question in my mind: how the fuck did the people let it get that bad? This is how.
It happened gradually. People are under the impression that evil mustache man just showed up one day with armies and shit. No, it happened slowly.
So
it says it started with a birther movement and a man questioning a birth certificate, and then that turned into a questioning of everything. So because now no one
this really quick.
Understands or trusts the news. Yeah.
So this is from the JEC, the Joint Economic Committee, which did a deep dive into this. But this is fake news. Remember that. Job growth under Democratic presidents. So Obama actually had the worst job growth of a Democratic president, but compared to all his Republican counterparts, except for surprisingly Reagan, but there's a reason for that, by the way. There's a huge reason for that, why the job growth was so high under Reagan.
And it's threw everyone off food stamps.
Yeah.
Don't forget old Reaganomics.
Well, it's not only that. If I remember correctly, Reagan was the president coming out of the recession. So job growth was exponential at that point. I think a toddler could have had job growth that high. Unemployment rates, better under Democrats. The economy grows more under Democrats. manufacturing.
Basically, the rule of thumb is the Republicans will beef up the military, drain our hoard, line pockets. Democrats come in, fix shit. It's not as exciting. They don't have a lot of fun shit go on. It's really boring. And then the fucks it all up again. Blue comes fix it. That's kind of the history.
I got both Docs in here. Wait a minute. What the fuck? How am I so privileged to have both Doc and Debate Doc in here right now? What are you all doing here? They built the Autobahn thing. Also Volkswagen. Those seem cool. Hey, I like me a good Volkswagen. The Golf GTI is one of my favorite cars.
It is pronounced Volkswagen.
Volkswagen?
Volkswagen.
Can I pull up data from the Old Testament era about job growth?
I mean, I guess you could, but that's what isn't a job has kind of changed since then.
Man, it was so bad last night. So Debate Doc came up on Carbon's Live last night after somebody wanted to make the argumentation about trans individuals and immediately went into chromosomes. So then they got a whole mouthful from me. And then Debate Doc came up and took it a step further. And all they got out of so much information was their response was, "This is one of the funniest lives I've ever been in." So they got a free education for 15 minutes.
I remember that.
They were just like, "Oh, it's funny." Yeah, Doc, I learned a couple. Well, I reaffirmed things that from your talk last night. So, always nice to hear individuals that are more have a better expertise in the field, because a lot of my study is, especially when it comes to chromosomes and karyotyping and biological fixed traits, a lot of my studies is done from online and looking through peer-reviewed research and doing my due diligence, having individuals that specialize in it reaffirm what I've been learning for the past decade is always really nice to hear. I'm still slightly upset with you that you didn't go into the SOX 9 and the subsidiaries of the SRY gene. We're going to fight about that a little bit.
Didn't they admit that you were more knowledgeable than them about that?
They did.
Yeah, Don't. They admitted they didn't know as much as you on that.
No, see, and that's a big difference that I get a lot of the time. Is I have these conversations with other individuals that, I don't know if Doc is a Democrat. I'm assuming they're somewhere on the left side. Is I have these conversations with these individuals, and they're more than willing, just like myself, to be like, "Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool." And then I have conversations with individuals on the other side, and they're like, "Fake news, fake science, it doesn't exist." Or my favorite, "Well, that's an exception." No shit, trans people are also an exception. Being gay, lesbian, bi is also an exception. It's an atypical form of development. We understand it's the smallest percentage of the population but it's still a biological fixed trait that happens.
The way it works is
it's not that complicated.
Get an exception, I get an exception.
No, only one person gets an exception. Nobody else can have it. That sounds like me, like I always say, that sounds like me when I was 12 years old and I would lose at a video game. That's cheating. Why did you keep me locked in the corner? Yes, I played a lot of fighting games when I was little. Why are you playing like a scrub? It's not because I don't understand the mechanics of the game and I don't have a comprehension of how to get out of the corner. It was always the other player's fault. So to all my fighting game players out there, I hope you know what I'm talking about, or maybe I'm a little too old at this point.
Those games will test friendships, and maybe some siblings.
Up, down, left, right, BA.
So accountability, yeah, learning to take accountability. That's something we don't see on the other side very often.
Accountability would infer
They're
having
out
to admit you were wrong.
Surprisingly, they are out there. For some reason, one of not neighbor, but in the vicinity, votes Republican, but will sit and have a conversation with me and will admit, yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. The problem is even after he admits it, he's like, yeah, I'm still voting Republican. I'm like, God damn it. Why did we just have a 2-hour conversation?
Like, file my taxes.
So you did
with
swindle Uncle
2
Sam.
hours.
Good for you.
I never owed them money. I have never owed Uncle Sam money. Uncle Sam has always
I am
paid
too
me.
busy fighting for 100% through the VA.
Same. Honestly, same.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, did you hear the thing that came out of Trump's mouth about, like, individuals that get, like, Social Security or veteran benefits?
Oh, I
If you
missed
don't
that.
live in the States for over a year, then we don't have to pay you.
You do know people deplore,
the
right?
fuck you do.
I'm not you, but like I just wish one of the reporters was like, you do know what deployment is, right?
Right.
Yeah, but then again, we know Trump doesn't give a shit about our troops. That's
Yeah,
why
no, he's like-
I will never understand LGBTQIA for Trump. I will never understand veterans for Trump. I will never
Right.
understand active duty for Trump. Like, if you just listen to the words that come out of his mouth, he's not for you.
Doesn't he have the National Guard in DC on like a 29-day rotation? So that they can't get the 30-day benefits?
So I don't like misinformation, so that's not confirmed. That's just a common tactic, is to deploy the National Guard for 29 days, because at 30 days you have to start paying them as if they were active duty.
Right.
So a lot of them will use the National Guard for up to 29 days, and then they'll be like, yep, you're not needed anymore. We did see something similar in California. I think they were there for 21 days, but we cannot confirm this until we hit the 29-day mark. I believe we're at 19 right now.
Right. That's fair.
Holy shit.
Roaches for raid. Oh my god.